Gonna pause for recording and we will get started. All right, y'all. We have just watched the latest episode of The Bachelorette with Rachel. This is episode 4. I'm here with your girl Jacqueline, breaking it down with my co-host Miss Joi.
I'm still here. I'm honestly surprised at this point.
I think at this point too, like this last episode, this is what does happen too, is like we're getting ramped up for some drama. So like this episode, if I had to give it as a whole, I feel like not a lot really happened. But I do feel like this next 2 episodes are going to probably infuriate me. So I just need to like make it through. But before we get started with the episode, there was some drama before the episode even kicked off, but it was Bachelor drama, so I feel we have to talk about it. And it was with one of our special ones. Let's just go ahead and say special ones with Demario. So there's this drama with Bachelor in Paradise where, as I told you, Joy, they get these kids really drunk. Like, there's open bars, and so people are drinking a lot. And most of these kids are probably, like, fitness people who don't drink that much, and so they're doing a little liquid courage because there's television cameras, and, you know, it's a group dating situation and all this other stuff. And apparently, in Bachelor in Paradise, it's all speculation at this point, but long story short, it seems that there may have been a non-consent sexual interaction between 2 of the contestants, one being Demario and the other one being Corinne. And it's messy. Like, I hit you up with a link on it and I was just like, this is so just bad because the producers are involved and like, why are they letting this happen? Why are they still filming? So what did you think when I sent you that link?
It was just so messy, which I think today they announced that they have found no misconduct actually occurred. As an update to the link that you sent me. I personally still think that there's misconduct. But I think overall it's misconduct with ABC and the producers. Just because of, to your point, in terms of these people don't have access to their phones and necessarily social media. They can't do a lot of the stuff that we do on our day-to-day basis when they're bored, but they have a limited access to alcohol. Mm-hmm. And so and the producers, you've been watching Unreal, you could probably confirm that they definitely encourage that because that's when you get the juicy stuff. Like when it comes to makeouts, to confessionals, to everything in between. And it's a terrible way on to get all the juicy bits of any show. So not even just like Bachelorette or Bachelor in Paradise, but just in general. Like, I'm not going to lie. When I heard Demario's name involved, I was like, of course it is. Because he is just a messy motherfucker. So he is. Like,
yeah.
He is. Yeah. He is a walking piece of just dramatics and drama. And my heart goes out to Corinne. No woman should ever be in a situation where she feels as though her agency has been taken away and that she has been violated in any way, shape, or form, and that's not cool across the board.
Because this is the other thing, too. It's like they've probably got these, like, NDAs, where they can't talk about things until the end of the season because I don't care what investigation they had, unless 100% all parties involved feel that there was,
agreed.
You know what I mean? Like, if it comes out after, like, the NDA is lifted and she's allowed to talk about this, that this was something where she's walking away feeling abused and taken advantage of by the show.
And she's broken her silence. Her and Demario have put out a statement.
They put out a statement, but they haven't gone into the details. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the part where she could be like, this happened, and then this happened, and for me, this should have happened before this happened. And if any of those sentences start popping off, like, I honestly feel they probably will, I'm gonna have a huge problem with it personally.
Agreed. I'm right with you. Like, I want to make it clear when I talk about the announcement that they said that there wasn't any misconduct. I want to be clear that I'm not saying that there wasn't misconduct. I'm saying that that is the report that they have updated as of today. I do not agree with it.
Yeah,
I do think that there was and is misconduct. I also, to Jacqueline's point, believe that it is an internal investigation that they were doing within kind of like the ABC kind of wheelhouse.
Yeah, girl, let's talk about this. They had an internal investigation on Ray Rice beating the shit out of his girlfriend at the time, and found nothing happened. And
when it comes to an investment, and the Bachelor franchise is an investment for ABC. Mm-hmm. They have put 15 years into it, a whole lot of money, a whole lot of seasons. This is not something that they want to get rid of so easily.
Yeah.
So of course they're going to do an internal investigation.
Yes.
I know some foul shit happened.
Yes.
That's what I do know. Like, that's, in my gut feeling, is how I feel. Again, Corinne is absolutely the victim here. I hope that she is able to still kind of be able to live her life as normal as humanly possible, because it's bad enough that you're in a situation where you're kind of hearing from other people what's happening.
Yeah.
And it's happening on a national platform on top of that. Like, that's not fair to her. She doesn't need to deserve that. DeMario's still a scumbag, so fuck him. And then fuck ABC once again. This is the second time in a week in a row I'm just saying fuck ABC. But fuck them too. Like, everybody sucks. Everybody sucks on the Bachelor franchise. I didn't even give a damn about Bachelor in Paradise.
No, and I didn't either. I don't, this is the thing. I'm a lifelong Bachelor fan. I don't watch Bachelor in Paradise. Because Bachelor in Paradise, I was like, I've seen this play. It was called Temptation Island, and I didn't like it the first time. You know what I mean? It
kind of reminds me a little bit of, like, Real World Key West.
Yeah.
For, like,
so I don't need that. Like, give me the Bachelor with their fake whatever, but that is just like, that's getting into like the Real Housewives and stuff. Like, I like my trash TV to a certain extent, but
sure.
This is kind of really like this, and like the occasional like dancing competition is kind of the only thing I venture into, because I can't deal with most reality television. But Bachelor in Paradise, it goes past my bullshit level. So I've dedicated more time to it, talking about it right now, than I ever have. But the only reason being is like, we were just talking about this fool and how shady he is, and then he goes and does something semi-shady on, another show.
And you're a terrible person where a news as serious as sexual assault comes out and your name is attached, and not once did I blink and be like, oh no, that's surprising.
No way. I mean, granted, you're right. There's only one story around this guy, and it's awful. And I mean, again, you know what? I've put too much time and energy talking about this.
Yeah,
kid.
no, let's just move on. Listen, Corinne, us at the Blacklorette podcast, we support you 100%, girl. Please get better, please.
Yeah.
Make sure that
sue the shit out of him. Fuck, get better. Sue the shit out of those motherfuckers. That's what I'm saying, girl. Go get yours.
That's a part of getting better. Get your money.
Get your money.
And also make sure that on a mental health standpoint, you whatever you need to do, you make sure you take the proper steps.
Yeah, self-care, sweetie, self-care. So the actual show, getting back to the Bachelorette, kicks off with a rose ceremony. And one thing I will say is the anger towards Lee is not just felt by us. Like, everybody is so through with that fool.
Nobody Lee. Listen, this might be what unifies America on
girl,
Twitter.
Seriously. And not just because of his tweets, like, him on the show. Like, I know a couple people who didn't know about the background. Like, I guess you were watching the show with some folks that didn't know about the background. He has no fans. He is nobody that's like, let me stand for Lee.
I was with a party of two people. It was about 6 of us, including me. Half of us watched it. Other half didn't watch it. One has watched seasons past and just wasn't up to snuff. 2 has never seen the show ever. I mentioned to them while we were watching the show, like, oh, who's Lee? Because you keep mentioning Lee. Point out Lee. And then I said afterwards, by the way, he has had racist and homophobic tweets on Twitter.
Islamophobic,
Yeah, Islamophobic. All the phobics you can come up with, right? And they looked at him again, and it was like, that looks like that's correct.
Hard fucking pass, man. Hard pass on him. Anyway, so they get down to the rose ceremony, and the final rose potentially can go to Lee, Diggy, or... I forget him. I just call him male model. I don't know what his name was, but he was the male model.
Bryce. He's the one with the wide chin. He's a very wide like jaw. I don't know how to describe it, but it's shaped like the bottom of a hexagon.
Is it Bryce? I don't know. Either way, I don't know if it was Bryce or I don't know what the dude's name is. I just know that the dude is a male model, and those are the three that were potentially going to go home with Lee, and Lee is the one that got the rose, which is another reason why. Like, unless they, like, and granted, they could have done this. They could have edited. So the rose ceremony, the order that they call them in is not always the order that they play it in. So to give you an example, they can cut it to where it looks like it was down between those three. And say, for instance, if they find out that one of the contestants is a racist piece of shit, they can make it look like they put him towards the end, because his actual narrative for that week didn't really warrant him being one of the final three, because they always try to add a little bit of drama. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. You know,
and I think they did that, and I just was so frustrated. I was like, yeah, and of course you're gonna pick him because that's the way y'all do. So,
but then again, like, we've been talking about this, and again, it's based on what we're seeing, because everything is, we're not seeing the full kind of footage. Stuff is getting edited down because it's a television show. Mm-hmm. Diggy got no love for the 4 episodes he was on.
Yeah. And then, like, the thing that was really sad, too, was, like, he actually showed, like, a little of why, like, because how they leave is a very big, determination of the contestants. Mm-hmm. So, the ones that, you know, whatever, you know, like, no matter what you do, if you show your ass when you're getting kicked off, it's even worse. But I also found out that, you know, I really, like, when he was talking towards the end, I was like, this is the realest you've been, motherfucker. Like,
right. This is the most emotion I've seen come out of Diggy outside of talking about his shoes.
Yeah.
Which shoes, I'm not mad at it. Like, that wasn't even me being shady. I have a lot of shoes. Yeah. And I can understand the passion you have towards those shoes. But, kind sir. Yeah. You need to do something.
Yeah. So, no, you're right. Bryce was one of the ones that got sent home, but there was another one, which is the male model dude. And I'm glad Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. There's still at least 3 different white men that every time I see them get cut to in this episode, I was like, who's that?
Who's that? It's literally, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the Chris Evans song from Saturday Night Live, where they, like, line up all the Chris's, and they're like, I'm not
First
this
of all,
Chris.
That's funny, because you said Chris Evans, it was definitely Chris Pine.
Oh, it's Chris Pine! Did say that.
And your point is made. So, going on.
I feel so bad because I swear to God, if white people confuse me, because there's like another black girl that works on my team at work, and if people confuse us together, I stare them daggers. I'm like, did you confuse me with the other black girl that sits over here? Because I'm not her. So I feel bad that I can't do the same thing with white boys. I'm like, I'm sorry. That's one of those ones where I'm like, I should just pay attention. You're a person. I can't play that. I mean, like y'all look alike.
But to be fair, in terms of editing, you only get to see their name, and they may get a sentence or 2 per episode. And there's like at least 3 of them still in the house post that rose ceremony, where I was like, who are, like, I know Jack Stone.
Yeah, because he's got 2 names and he's weird.
He is weird. But there's 2 other ones who I was like, I don't know who you... Is Adam with the creepy-ass doll still there?
Adam.
Did he get kicked out? He had a creepy-ass mannequin doll, like a ventriloquist doll or something like that.
Maybe.
That was like, he had that episode 1. I don't remember if he's still in the... I don't remember if he's still in the house. But...
I think he might be. He's a real estate agent? I think he might be.
I have no clue his prefer. I know he had a creepy ass doll, and I have not seen that doll since. Thank the Lord, but still.
Yeah. They've like, if you go onto the site now, they gray them out, and yeah, Adam's still there. Adam is the one that I think I've met. Like, I think I know that kid from life.
Right, and we're still waiting for that follow up. So I need
to like. Well, this is the deal. I need to like call people and be like, hey, do you know this motherfucker?
Yeah, just show him like.
Yeah, like I need to go on my Facebook feed.
Picture. Be like, do you know this man?
Because I think I know him, and one of my friends from Dallas days will be like, yeah, he was from this. Anyway, so infuriates people because Make the Bachelor Great Again is still on the show, and it just whatever. I'm really trying, because this is the deal. When Dean leaves, I will not have anything to just direct this hate towards. I mean, not when Dean leaves. When Lee leaves, I will not have anywhere to direct this hate towards. But I really do have so many issues with the fact that this guy made it past the screening, and I can only assume it is just because ABC wanted this drama. Because he's not cute. He's not talented. He's not semi-famous. He's just fucking racist. And
I agree.
With bad hair.
And I would like to, again, my daily fuck you is going to Chris Harrison and his creepy ass. Because this man really thought that we are idiots.
Yeah,
to
girl.
try to be on Twitter and be like, oh, of course we didn't know about his tweets. I'm like, the fuck you didn't? Like, you
and
absolutely...
Maybe you didn't, but the producers? No.
Right. But just like how I don't want anybody, like... Just like how I don't want black people falling on the sword for Bill Mayer when he fucks up. Chris Harrison don't do the same thing for Lee.
No.
Stop.
This is the kicker, though. As too as I say, it's like, okay, wait, time the fuck out. Even if, let me go ahead and suspend disbelief, belief, whatever the hell you want to say, and say y'all didn't know. They, give these people, intensive questionnaires and intensive interviews where they ask them questions, and talking to that fool for 5 minutes, you're Make the Bachelor Great Again. You're a Trump supporter. You know what I mean? So you know that if they didn't know the exact wording of his tweets, they definitely probably could have picked in on his politics and his mentality, and that right there.
But think of it this way, and here's what could be even more fucked up. Maybe the people that interviewed him are like him, so they didn't see anything wrong with him. Stay woke.
You're true. But this is the deal, though. I mean, I say that. There are, I know black Trump supporters. I can't just say because, this is the way he feels that he is not going to be able to have a relationship with an African-American woman, but I just... No, that's a correct assumption, because it's not going to... You clearly don't care about her black-ass life. That's you say that, but it's that same, I've seen it. I know people who are like this. Her boyfriend is let me call myself a deplorable Republican, and yeah, dude, I've seen it.
And that's
I'm not saying that I don't question the fuck out of her, because I do, but... It is one of those things where, and I've seen black couples, straight, just not interracial couples, straight black couples, where the boyfriend is that Milwaukee police officer up there that was at Trump rallies and shit, and that's the way they feel.
And that's my thing. I think that there's a fine line between being in terms of politics. So you might be more on the conservative side, you might be a Republican. And then straight up being like Lee, where look at Clark.
Look at that dude. He said Black Lives Matter is a hate group on Fox News. He said that, we need to have a travel ban. These are the things that are said by this black man. And don't get me wrong, I personally feel he's an anomaly, but 13% of black men voted for Trump. So it ain't that big of an anomaly.
I don't disagree with you. What I'm saying is, in terms of focusing on Lee and his issues,
yes.
I think that's a problem, because regardless of how he feels, and that even if he is very homophobic and Islamophobic and racist, so I can't speak for Rachel's personal opinions on Islam or homophobia, but I can say with enough confidence that as a black person, racism probably is not the best thing for her. And
I'm saying you're right, but if anything has taught me, that assumption, the assumption that you think it's how many times we gotta say it? Skin folk ain't kinfolk. I've seen some really weird. I live in the South.
And I agree with you, but here's where my issue comes into play. I think it would be a different scenario if her agency in terms of making that decision wasn't taken from her.
Yeah.
She didn't choose my man to be on the show.
True.
If she had an opportunity to choose the men that she wanted on the show, and racist ass Lee is what she chose, I'm not going to agree with it. but at least I know for a fact, because, like, yo, that's what she chose for her life. All right, cool. I'm
with
staying
you.
out of this.
Oh, and truth be known, let's talk about it. So we actually got to live tweet this one. 4 episodes in, we finally got it. And Rachel was very much about the clapback. Like, she talked somebody popped into, so this was the tweet. I don't know if you saw this, and I should have put this one down. So there was a former Bachelor contestant sitting down watching The Bachelor, and I guess her roommate walks in the room, and she's just like, oh my God, what's this, love and hip hop? Because there's a black Bachelorette and black men trying to suit her. And she tweets that, and ha ha ha, so funny. And Rachel claps back with a quickness, be like, oh my God, do you want to maybe come back on the show and date Lee? I think y'all would have a lot in common. Girl.
Hashtag I have time today.
Yes, girl.
Tweet. Yes. And that's what I'm saying. Like, don't get me wrong. She has made some weird decisions, in my opinion. And I'm not even talking about the Lee stuff.
In general, because, yes. Yeah.
Right. Because the Lee stuff is like, I genuinely believe from what I'm seeing that she does not know about these tweets until after the show is over.
Or his personality even.
Or his personality, yeah, right? So I'm not going to hold that against her. I don't like Rachel. I am on the boat of not liking her. Let me make that clear. But the lead part is not the reason why. So I'm appreciative that she did that, but at the same token, again, it talks about agency. She did not have that choice of who was or was not in the house. And I based on that clapback, I can say with confidence, she didn't definitely want Lee in that house. Yeah. Not with her black ass self.
It makes me think what's coming next. Like, maybe he really does show his ass. Yeah.
Right.
I will say this.
Which he's been showing his ass since he's been in there, but that's neither here nor there. Shows his ass to Rachel, which is what I know you're saying.
Yeah. And I will say this about Rachel. This is one of those things where, unfortunately, this is where you're getting her as the Bachelorette. And so I think when you say you don't like her, because I can just tell you, even of the sisters that have been on this show, she is like... one of my favorites. Agree with you.
I definitely just don't like her as not even that I don't like her as the Bachelorette. I don't like her decision making. I don't like her reactions to certain things.
Yeah.
And sometimes in this episode in particular, where I was just like, "Girl, what are you doing?"
Yeah.
One example, she started crying. I was like, "Girl, why? For what? Why are you crying? Why are we crying? I don't understand." Like,
and this
like that, where I'm just like, I don't.
But this is the kicker. This also goes back to that editing where they don't show maybe what caused the tears, right?
Yeah.
But moving on. So the rose ceremony happens. Makes the Bachelorette Great Again continues. And we go back to the house and Rachel puts out her one-on-ones. One thing I will tell you, the Bachelor or Bachelorette does get... a choice in one-on-ones.
Sure, okay.
So I think it is very telling that she chose her one-on-one with Dean, and more importantly, that they go on this, like, literally
really
the most
really
romantic date with, like, no activities, too. So, like, you'll notice this with the Bachelor dates. There's, like, kind of a formula to them. It's either a lot of activity, maybe with a big group, or a lot of activity with just a one-on-one, or a two-on-one, or a small group. Or there's these dates where there's less activity, and it's really just them chilling. Like, there's cabins and whatever. And the fact that she had this date with Dean, I think, is very telling of her current affections for him. Because even the guys said it. Like, the guys were like, she's smitten with him. So, like, they go on their blimp ride where he was being a little bitch. I was so ready for him. I was like, just pee your pants for me because you were acting like such a little bitch. It's a blimp.
I'm not, you know what? Here's the funny part. I'm going to defend Dean for a brief second.
What? Wait, y'all. Wait. I need everyone to turn their microphones up real quick. Joy's about to defend Dean.
I know I am. You know why? Because I'm terrified of heights. So I completely understand why his reaction would have been my reaction. But my reaction would have been a lot more cursing. Girl. But his reaction, I completely understood where he was coming from. I hate heights. I absolutely
I'm
hate
a scaredy cat too, but I'm also a person, I'm kind of like Rachel. It's like, I'm not going to get the opportunity to sit in the cockpit of a Goodyear blimp and move it around.
And I get it. I just think it's like, it's just a mattering of like how people react. Like, I wouldn't do that. Like, how Dean's face was looking like, why the fuck am I in front of this cockpit and y'all know I'm afraid of heights?
Yeah.
That's me. Yeah. So that is the only thing that I have a connection with Dean with. When all of his reactions on that blimp, I was like, nope, I get it. I completely understand why you feel the way you. I didn't judge him for it. I appreciate. Now there were we're gonna talk about the data, briefly, because there were pieces of it where I was just like, I have questions. But overall, it
was a good date. He didn't embarrass himself.
No,
like he's done
it was
previously.
a solid. For Dean, it was a solid date. I'm come to the point where it's just like, I don't like Dean, but it's very clear that she likes Dean, and obviously there's nothing I can do about that. Like that's really where it's very clear that he's the way it's going. He is in the running to be there longer than most. Yes. Which is game's the game.
Yes. And she's going against every instinct because he's 7 years younger than her. And listening to the guys be like, how is he gonna, but this is the thing. Okay, so I'll put this on Dean. They go on their romantic date. They shade the guys in the house by flying the blimp over the house. And then they have that banner, basically.
It says
Rachel and Dean forever. And then that shit trended on Twitter like it was a sex tape that got dropped. Let's talk about it. It trended for hours.
So here's the questions I had. We didn't go into the rest. We then go to dinner, right?
Yeah.
Dean tells a really sad story about growing up in his childhood and his mother dealing with cancer in 2 different separate occasions, not being able to come back home a second time. And it was really a heartbreaking story, I will say.
Yes.
But then we get into this random ass concert in the middle of the street, and they're dancing
to
and
country music and bad country music. Not saying that there's a really high bar for good, but bruh.
Who picked this band? And
if they would have brought out the Dixie Chicks, I would have been like, you know what? I could cool with that. I could cool with that. Not my music, but I could cool with that. Whatever the fuck that was, I literally was like, I wanted to be like Damon Hunsu from Guardians of the Galaxy. Who? Who?
Well, then again, I have to. Because I have a personal stake in this bachelorette because she looks like me. Mm-hmm. My assumption is girl, she don't like this music.
Why would y'all pick this? Why would ABC pick this?
Yeah, but I don't know if she likes this music or not.
Don't judge girls from Texas. Listen. I'm telling you right now, there are so few girls like that. I'm not saying there aren't girls like that, but no.
Which that's what my hope is, but
she was an AKA girl. Right.
No, she's Delta. But
she's Delta. Yeah. That's right, Delta. Sorry, yes. Either way, no.
She recently just posted pictures on Instagram, her with her sorors over the weekend, and that's why again, I can go on tangents on when are we going to see her real black friends come on the show.
Really,
but anyway,
though,
I'm waiting for that. But okay, so we move on from Dean's date. It went well. Whoop de whoop, yay. Then we go on the yacht boat. So we got the Diddy yacht cruise going on shore. People are shirtless, and we get a glimpse of Josiah in his final form, which is super cocky, Super Saiyan cocky Josiah, right?
Yeah.
So my man is shirtless, which his body looks nice, but my man is shirtless. My man is doing the most. The first question I texted my friend was, is Josiah Caribbean? Because he gave me a lot of Caribbean vibes, maybe Jamaican.
Yeah.
And I had a lot of questions. Listen, I'm gonna officially say that my top 3 has now been officially reconfigured. Josiah was on the bench last week. Josiah has been completely kicked off the team. He's been traded like the Knicks. And we are bringing Willie into the rafters. Come on, Willie, come on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Willie on the bench. Officially, Josiah is no longer in my top 3. My top 2 still remain, but yeah, Josiah gotta go, man. He's annoying. He's arrogant, arrogance and cockiness, whatever. But man, when you get into that annoying standpoint, he kissed that spelling bee trophy so many times.
Yeah, girl.
Obviously that they were in a long-term relationship and they just saw each other.
Yeah, girl. I mean, look, as somebody who was this close to going to law school, I just think every time about how my life would have been different if I would have finished law school. that's a long story. But I'll put it to you this way. That is pretty much all lawyers. Like they're just braggadocious people, like and braggadocious about being smart, which is the stupidest thing in the world to be braggadocious about. You don't hear Neil deGrasse Tyson walking around to people being like, "Motherfucker, do you know the things I thought today?" You know what I mean?
No, but the way that they so let's get into the spelling bee. So the way that they showed intelligence, and I want to make this very clear to our listeners: just because you can spell
does not
mean you're smart.
No, but you could tell that that's what he was thinking.
No, that. First of all his words were easy as hell for the most part.
Well, what they cut out, you don't know what they cut out.
Boutonniere.
Yeah.
Can you spell bouton? I can't spell that. Like, so when I saw he got that word, and also, okay, y'all, I understand this is on prime time. This is adult people trying to woo other adult people, but y'all have a spelling bee and the judges are children. Why are the words coitus, words, and polyamorous in your words?
I mean, reasons.
I was just like, but they're kid judges. What are y'all doing? And then them trying to be sly. Can you use it in a sentence? No, I can't.
Because there's children in front of me.
There are children in front of me.
Yeah. I watch the script spelling bee every year. First of all, the words were horrible, and the use in the sentence was horrible.
Yeah, that. On top of that, biggest of shout outs to my man Eric, who if I needed somebody to spell a word for me or else I'd die, I wouldn't ask him to do it because he spelled facade starting with the P and the H. And I was.
Oh man, that was so good.
Another shout out to Peter. What word did he spell? Where I was just like, he spelled coitus with a Q and a U. And I was like, no. Like, listen, we have our bad days. I definitely have brain meltdowns where I'm like, I told
it on Twitter. I was like, I am queen typo. I'll be the first to admit it because my brain is like faster than my fingers. But absolutely. I corrected that shit. And y'all some non-spelling motherfuckers.
No, that's my thing. It's like, yo, I'm with you. I have brain meltdowns sometimes where I'm like, yo, how did I misspell this like simple ass word? Mm-hmm. But man, and never ever in my black ass life have I ever spelled facade with a P and the H. Q. Oh, that P and the H actually took me out. And when he spelled it, I low-key want how he spelled facade to be my rap name and pronounce it as facade. That is what I want in life.
It's the new coffee. It's the new coffee.
Oh,
it really is. And better.
It was rough. You know what? But shout out to the Black Excellence, the last three men.
Brothers.
All brothers. Shout out to y'all. Y'all spelling motherfuckers. I appreciate you.
And Will was like, I was like, all right, Will, I see you. He had like one letter off and he was going to have it.
And then another thing, I got to give a sad shout out to Kenny, my man. This is the third challenge in the row that you were second place for the first two challenges. You were the first person sitting out in detention because you can't spell. Kenny, I want you to win these challenges because I know you have it in you, and I don't know what's going on. I want to chalk it up to Lee was really still on your mind that you couldn't spell, but I can't even do that. Like, I'm trying to be gracious here, but this is the third challenge where I'm just like, what happened?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, luckily this ain't like, like Road Rules or something where this are like the, Amazing Race. Like, truth be known, if she wants the D, they could be the worst spellers in the world.
Right. Which I don't think spelling is a very good indicator of intelligence. No. That's my personal opinion. Because like in the world of spell check, like I need you to spell simple words. Like I want you to be able to string a sentence and understand grammar and punctuation. But yeah, no, dude, like some of that I was just like some of these words are like super easy, you should get them right. Some of them were like super hard. And I'm like, hey, if you get it wrong, you get it wrong. I'm not gonna fault you for it, but whatever. So we move on to Josiah. Obviously wins the spelling bee. He loves that trophy. He does a Jay-Z at the Grammys, pouring a Douce in the trophy, drinking it at the house. And we get once we get to the house, we get a nice little preview / return of Iggy the Instigator.
Girl, we both have our nicknames for him. Iggy the Instigator, I think, is a good catch-all. But I'm not gonna lie to you, he is straight up Joanna the Scammer. Like, yeah. I'm a real messy bitch and I live for drama. I'm like, you need to take several seats.
Somebody said that he was
so
Benita
extra.
Patrell.
Yes,
and
Benita
I've been
Burrell.
calling him Benita Patrell ever since. So Iggy the Instigator comes back in full force, and because he doesn't have anything better than to gossip about the girls.
Yep.
He spends all his time
on shows with women. Bitches don't gossip as much as this motherfucker. I'm just gonna let you know, like the ones where it's the Bachelor versus the Bachelorette.
Let this be a good case study. Let me tell you, there is a large population of men who gossip as much as or even more than women.
Yes.
I need this theory that all women do is gossip to end. Because when I'm with me and my girls, we do not gossip like that. Do you gossip like that? Like with you and your girls?
This is what we do. We get like maybe an update. There was a dude that got walked out of my job in handcuffs. And that was like 3 weeks ago. And I swear to you, I've asked twice about what happened. And the first one was what happened. And the second was like, did you hear anything new? Nope. Moving on. Like there is no reason. And that's something to talk about, right? Like
right. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves is that when this misconception that women all they do is gossip, we really don't. And some of you, and not even some of you, most of you motherfuckers gossip more than us. So quit it. Iggy's a great example of your gender doing the most with the least. And he spent his whole date talking about another person who is a competitor.
Second time he's done that. And I'm just letting you know, dog, in the history of The Bachelor, doesn't tend to go well. I'm just saying.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a pattern. Like, bruh, keep my name out your mouth. Like, why are you wasting your one-on-one time with Rachel, which, to be truthful versus everybody else in the house, you know you don't got as much time.
Girl.
Why are you gonna waste it talking about goddamn Josiah? Josiah's annoying. I agree with you. I kind of don't want Josiah to be in the house anymore either.
But this is the thing with Josiah is, like, I said it. He's gonna do himself in. Like, he's already setting all of himself up to where all you need to do is give that full rope. Give that full time, and he will make his own rope, hang himself from it, and kick away the chair, dog. Absolutely. You don't need to do nothing. Like Alita doesn't even have to make machinations on that fool. He just got to sit back and wait.
And I agree, but Iggy's not a strategist. So then Eric, which kudos to Eric, because he tried again. Listen, Eric, really, I appreciate Eric for at least trying to attempt to, when he was more level-headed, explain to Iggy, like, bruh, we just dealt with you last time.
Yes, and he even said, why you gotta be extra sauce?
Right. He was like, you were all up in the sauce always, at all times. And he is absolutely correct.
Right. Yeah.
He literally was like, but I told you about this
last time.
Me, and I was talking to Anthony, and I told you to mind your business. And you're still not minding your business. What's good? And he's still so. And here's the thing.
What's good
about Iggy is that he wants a cookie because he told after the fact.
Wait a minute. What did he say? I feel protective of you. No cookies, boo. No cookies. Because I don't need a man to protect me. I would literally wait for Rachel to turn to be like, bitch, I'm an attorney. I lock motherfuckers up. I'm gonna be all right. I don't need you to protect me.
Right. And this whole I need to protect you is bullshit. You just like to be messy.
Yeah.
And the fact that he was like, well, I still, since y'all talking about it, I wanted to let you know I mentioned people who I didn't think was real
was the other part.
For Rachel. And I think it's Josiah. And you're expecting Josiah to not react negatively, to be like, excuse me?
Ugh. I just remember him saying that, and it's almost like, I think I may have been a little bit harsh in your letter of recommendation for college after they found out that they got rejected. Like, what the fuck? Don't tell me. You already done what you had to do. You don't need to tell me. This does not absolve you.
Yeah, no, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you don't get a cookie because you told him after the fact. You would have been the better idea or decision is stop talking about people if they don't got nothing to do with you and yours.
Yeah.
You're trying to win this woman's heart. Focus on that. So anyway, Get it off of Iggy, because Iggy really irked me this whole episode.
Yes.
He's so annoying.
Yes.
And I've been seeing this since that interaction with Eric, and I'm glad I spotted it.
Yeah, I don't see him lasting long, though, because, like, I mean, literally, that very rarely happens, because it is one of those things where it becomes noticeable after a while, because what she'll start to say is, you know, what do I know about this person? I know they definitely like to be in the sauce, but I don't know anything about them.
Always all up in the Kool-Aid, don't even know the flavor, and it's really, it's annoying. Yeah. So let's get into the main event, the main act, everything that people want to talk about. It's the Kenny versus Lee scenario, right?
Well, wait, before we do that, though, we gotta, since we're gonna bring up Kenny, before we got to the Iggy getting into the sauce, Kenny did his little rap on the boat.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I'm sorry.
He did his little freestyle. And Kenny was okay. I'm not gonna go call him like the next Hove, you know, next Nas or nothing.
You know what? He's the standard black man who has bars in his pocket.
Yes. He's a standard black man. Like, you know, remember, I love that picture from Issa when she was doing Misadventures of an Awkward Black Girl, where she's on her bed and she's just like, you know, like Kitty.
Let's be honest, most black people, but since we're talking about black men, but like most black people got a like a hot 8, girl. Just waiting to use if they need to.
Yes.
We that's something common amongst our people.
Amongst us. Because you know what? This is like playing Spades Barbecue, getting around the circle. Like, that may not happen in y'all's white folks cookout, but his show as hell happens at ours. You know what I mean? That,
like, at least 70% of us had rap dreams, men and women. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah.
So everybody got like at least a minimum of a hot 8. Yeah. Like hot 8 bars. Not even a full 16, just like half of that. So just
me, I wanted to be the first Broadway rapper, and like Lin-Manuel beat me to that.
I had a notebook that I thought, like, I had the highest rhymes in junior high school. So, like, this is not just a gender specific, men. No. They're 75. I can say that with confidence that a real statistic is 70% of black people, men and women.
I need that documented somewhere, but I'm pretty sure we can find statistics to back that up.
Yep.
Anyway, so he raps. It's okay. It's impressive. And then I'm not letting this go, because look, when Diggy got sent home, Joi was so quick to be like, "Did your boy get sent home?"
Yo, I will see it. No, I will.
And then this happened in the middle of the episode, and I was just Peter. Like, "Aha, what's good, Peter?"
Side note, somebody told me about Peter's rhyme at the end. He said something along the lines of "girl from the hood," which I don't remember, nor do I like recall what he said in terms of his bars, because they were so terrible. If he said that, Peter, you get a minor fuck you. You can't be saying stuff like that, bruh, about the Black Bachelorette. Nothing hood, ghetto. Once you go black, I'm never going back. Like, y'all got to stop. This is not cute. It's not
corny.
Funny.
It's corny and country in all the worst ways. Yes. But no, his rap was terrible. It was so bad. Just insert that Christy Teigen smile cry face. It was so cringy.
It was rough. Like, sitting through it, I was just like, this is awful. And
I was loving it, because I just couldn't help but laugh.
What's sad is that I can't even give him like an A for effort in terms of like trying to participate, because it just wasn't good. Like, you should have just stayed in your lane. This is not your strong suit.
Yeah.
I am not sports inclined. So that means that I'm not going to set myself up for like a triathlon for the first time ever, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's not where my strengths lie in life. Peter should really take that thinking and just like embed it in his soul. I don't hear not another bar from Peter. Fuck those bars. I'm not even. Those were the worst things. I have never heard such terrible prose come out of a person's mouth before. It was so terrible.
If Rachel ends up being engaged to Peter, which is a possibility, I'm not going to lie to you right now, I guarantee you he will spit more.
Fun fact on Rachel's Twitter account, she mentioned that what they didn't show is she also got into the ring.
Yes, she did mention that.
And did her own, spit her own 8 bars. Because once again, Black women have rap dreams.
Not only that, they keep having to edit the blackness out of this girl.
Right. So they had her, she was rapping too, based on what she, and I believe her. Like, she definitely said that, hey, they edited the fact that I got into the ring and started rapping with them, which, again, I agree with you. Like, they're trying to edit the blackness out of this girl to make her more palpable, which, fuck y'all, once again. Like, she's a black woman. She had rap dreams, even as a lawyer, like everybody else did. Mm-hmm. Right? She has to use edge control. She has to, girl, she's a black woman.
And I do love, like, on her Instagram, she's already switched her braids for her protective style from the summer. You know, they probably weren't down with that. Her braids,
and she went on a little cute little weekend getaway with her Delta soror sisters. Mm-hmm. All in the triangle. One of them is throwing up the hands. Like, okay, she's black. She's black. She is black. Y'all need to stop pretending like she ain't black, but she is black. She's visibly black. She's super black. Like, girl, if y'all don't get the whole fuck out of here, let that woman rhyme. I want to hear Rachel's Hot 16. It's better than Peter's. I haven't even heard it, and I know it's better than Peter's.
Yes, and this is the thing. I want to make sure it's clear that, like, I'm not trying to equivocate blackness. Obviously, we write for a site called Black Girl Nerds. If I counted how many times I got called Oreo because I'm like, I'm really into British dramas and musical theater. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is on this show, they're trying to make her black light because they have a primarily white audience. And that's why what that girl said about love and hip hop really bothers me. Because that's basically what they're saying, well, if we let this show become that, then we'll lose our audience. Meanwhile, in actuality, the same heifers that watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, watch Real Housewives of Orange County, watch Love and Hip Hop, watch Flavor of Love, that is all part of that same thing. You know what I mean? Like,
right. But I think with being a part of Black Girl Nerds, I think it's more of the overarching theme of you don't have to limit yourself.
Yes.
And Black people in general are multi-layered.
Yes,
we are some of the most complex beings as humanly possible. So like whatever the fuck you like, but there is stuff inherent to our culture that I think we all enjoy in certain doses.
Yes.
Just like how you can like
anime. Most enjoy. Yeah.
Where it's like you can like anime, but really be looking forward to the new Migos album.
Yes, and girl. We can walk and chew gum. Yeah, yes,
right.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting at. Like
a Barack Obama can be the president of the United States and decide foreign policy and be like, let me also go ahead and cop this new Kendrick Lamar.
Right.
I don't give a fuck.
And that was formerly the leader of the free world.
Yes.
Like
girl.
we can, to your point, we can walk and chew gum. Girl. Like you can have these different likes and dislikes, but there's something inherent to our culture that I think we all have, most of us at least, I would say like 90% of us at least, like have these common threads. And the musicality in terms of kind of hip hop and hip hop.
We have these common threads because of our family. It's like if you were raised in now granted, if you take a Black person that's adopted, they live in a totally different culture, because it's not even a reflection of Black people, it's a reflection of family and culture. Because my dad listens to funk music and rap, so that's probably going to be at least somewhat ingrained in you a little bit, whether you like it or not.
And that's the thing. Like rap is kind of the last kind of like staple or metamorphosis of the music of our ancestors, right? We still have more like evolutions to happen, but it is a mixture of those sounds before us in more of a boisterous, aggressive space. And aggressive not in a negative term, but aggressive in all of the positive ways you can think of, right? And so that is something that is a part of the culture. At the end of the day, Rachel is a Southern Black chick who's a Delta. Like, that is who she is at her basic form. Now, obviously, there's more layers to build her up to make her Rachel Lindsay, but she's a Delta. You can't tell me she wasn't strolling and stepping to Future.
Girl.
Like, nobody said, I don't care what nobody tells me. You ain't gonna tell me that last weekend when she was out with her sorors, T-shirt by Migos came on and they didn't do their stroll. Or Nuck If You Buck came on and they didn't do their stroll. Get out of here. Come on.
Yeah. No, I agree. I completely agree. The only thing I will say on this before we jump back to the main event as we were is I do see what The Bachelor, as someone that watches the show a lot, they are trying. But again, their try is so little that I could give two shits. You know what I mean? Like, yes, having Kareem Abdul-Jabbar is cool. Like, maybe you're trying, but it's such a low bar in comparison to everything else. Until I see Queen Latifah pop out, this is suspect. You know what I mean? Like, I need to see some black celebrities.
Let me make something clear. The only thing they're trying is the fuck out of me. And that's what they've been doing this season so far.
Yeah.
Like, I'm tired of it. Like, nothing, it's crazy. This is like an obvious duh. And it's crazy I have to say this, but it's like, there's nothing wrong with being a black bachelorette that likes black shit. Yeah. Like, madam, like, it's nothing wrong with that. Like, there's nothing that makes her lesser or less educated or less successful or less well-spoken or less classy for her to be like, you know, I'm having fun on this boat. We got Kenny and we got Peter with his terrible bars rapping. I want to join in on the fun too, and y'all can show that on television. Yeah. What is the fact that even in its basic form, you have a black man rapping, you got a white man rapping, but to have a black woman rap and it's so radical that we can't have that on television just really rubs me the wrong way. Yeah. And it might just be me thinking too much into it. But man, that sucks. I want to see Rachel have fun. I want her to be around black people and her black friends, which I know she has. Yes. I want sorors to roll up, hit a oop, and then come over and have a conversation. Like
looking at those pictures on Instagram is what makes that like first 2 episodes when they brought in these girls where I'm like, these are not her friends.
Right. Like, I want more. And I don't want that Kardashian black girl too either. No, good. leave her out of it too.
Well, this is the kicker though too. Like, not again, Joy. You get kind of harsh and let everybody have their truth. Some people like 20-inch tracks or whatever. That's their truth. Let them be happy.
That's what's wrong with the tracks. I love me a lady with some long tracks. Do not get me wrong. I'm talking about Shorty had the same voice as the other friends. Yeah. That's my problem.
Look, I will say this, yes. Be authentic. Like, as I tell everyone, authenticity is the most scarce commodity out there, and it's free. You know?
And this is how I viewed it. What they did was they picked the same type of girl in different shades to play her friends.
I mean, these are people that were also on the show for the most part, too.
And I said what I said. That is the truth. It is the same type of girl in different shades that came from the show, which, to be honest, there are from the seasons past, from what you've been telling me and some of my other friends have been telling me kind of behind the scenes and beyond the podcast, like, there's a similar type of girl in terms of personality, how they speak, how they act, that are on the show in the majority. People like Rachel are obviously in the minority, not because she is a minority, but because of her personality. She actually shows some type of complexity and she's a little bit more well thought out, if that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So when her friends are around her and they don't act like her and don't kind of have that same kind of personality or train of thought as she does, and they do look like and act like the same versions of themselves in different shades, that's weird. Yes. And I don't appreciate it.
No, I don't say you being wrong on that one. Anyway, but we can't look. The Bachelor, as I wrote this long before. I wrote this in my head years before this happened, and I wrote it the day that Rachel came out about how the Bachelor producers are suspect as fuck because of so many different things. They are proving why we need this podcast, and they are also proving why I am not fucking surprised. But let's get to the main event so we can wrap this up and talk about our top 3. Kenny and Lee.
Listen, it's the main event. I'm not going to put too much stake into it because we've already had a Lee section. Here's what it is. Kenny's getting gaslighted.
Girl.
I'm very disappointed that Rachel didn't see that up front. I'm hoping in giving her an opportunity to show that she does recognize gaslighting when it's very clear in her face for the next episode and the next 2-part series. I don't appreciate ABC turning this into a Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight with rounds. That makes me feel uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
I don't appreciate Lee in general. I want him to get punched in the face. I don't appreciate the situation that Kenny is in now, because if he puts hands on Lee and he's valid for doing so, he's getting kicked off the show and being deemed as an angry black man.
Mm-hmm.
If he doesn't, then he feels some type of way of not doing enough. And we've all been in that situation where, as a black person, you're wondering, did I do enough to defend myself? And that's not fair.
Yeah. No, you're right. I mean, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt because the episode hasn't played. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it could be a very quick resolution. Just like they made it seem like Demario could have walked inside when she never let him in. So
it's a 2-part event. They got a lot of ground to cover within those 2 parts. Mm-hmm. What they decide to do with that time, they need to choose wisely. That's all I'm going to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I'm dragging everybody on Twitter if it did not go the way it should be going. I just want people to know this. I've been keeping it real cute. I will be throwing ats out. Don't play me. And don't play yourself. I'm let me be very clear on this.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look. We will see. I have a feeling that in between episode 1 and episode 2 of this 2-parter, I'm going to be very angry. I'm gonna,
listen, I know that I am going to be on team if I see you on site is violence forever for Lee. And I've been there. I've been here in this space, but it's gonna be a public decree in my heart where it's like, yo, forever is static. Like, I don't even know this man. I've never met this man from Adam. Like, he's never personally done something to me. But I am fed up because you even in the interactions, like, and it hurts me, like, genuinely, it seems like the light got dimmed on Kenny. Kenny's an energetic type of dude, and he was the last 3 episodes, right? Episode 4, it looked like somebody tried to dim his whole light.
Yeah.
And that man, that just doesn't make me feel good. Like, as a black person to a black person, ain't nothing worse than seeing another black person's light getting dimmed by this motherfucker. And the fact that he's getting gaslight, then we're gonna have Willie Luther King trying to explain to Lee in the preview.
Girl, he is so trying to keep hope alive, and I'm telling you, I felt so bad for him for that. I was like, Will, do not try to negotiate racism with someone with inherent racism.
I like Big Willie. I do. I really do. He's on my top 3. I do like him. But if this man wastes his breath on somebody who clearly don't care, then I'm going to just be disappointed in him. Like, bro, what's the point? Stop. Like, there's no point in you explaining it to this man.
I mean, this is the thing, though. That's sort of like a contradiction in terms, because you can't say, obviously that's the reason why we talk about people changing their perspective, blah, 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 blah. I just believe that television show is not the place that he's going to change.
It's not the platform. It's not the time nor the space. This is a dating show at the end of the day.
Yeah.
This is not a Sesame Street episode. This is not the time nor place. And it shouldn't be on you as a contestant to stop your racist other fellow contestant from being racist. And it shouldn't be on him also on top of that. Like, when I say, like, yo, don't waste your breath, I mean, why do we have
to do the heavy lifting? You know what I mean?
We shouldn't have to do the heavy lifting. Yeah. And that's my thing. Like, 1, you're absolutely correct, not the time or place. 2, we shouldn't have to do the heavy lifting. And 3, like, most importantly, it's very clear he's being gaslighted throughout this whole episode. Kenny's not gonna be the only one.
No.
Kenny ain't gonna be the only one. And so, Willie, you on the chopping block, bruh.
And that's the other thing, though, I will say with Will, is he seems, I mean, they called him, like, a snake, so I think he is strategic. I don't see how he can attack somebody like Will. Because, look, Kenny and even Eric set themselves up for this. They play into his hands. I just don't see Will doing that. So as much as I'm like, I agree with you, I just don't see him falling into that.
But I can also see it on both sides where it's like, I agree, like, Will doesn't kind of play that game. I also think that I don't think there's anything wrong with reacting to how Lee is acting either. Like, he's not doing it to win
and you say
the game.
that, but look at how Rachel reacted to that reaction. You know what I mean?
But she acted to that reaction for both of them, not just for Kenny. It wasn't like Kenny got the brunt of the fall and it was like, yo, I'm in jeopardy of going home. No, they both got it, and they still both got a rose after the ceremony. Yeah. And now we'll see what that other interaction will be in the next two-part of next week. But the point is that, like, I understand where Kenny's coming from. At the end of the day, Kenny has been very kind of upfront on what type of dude he is. This is very on brand for him to react the way he is. Just like how when Eric reacted the way he is, I was like, both of y'all aren't wrong, and this is both very on brand for you. It's all about, again, being authentic. So even when these cameras are on and we on this dating show, which is stupid and corny, like whatever it is. If I feel like somebody is trying to threaten me, and be clear, Lee is words like saying he is aggressive, stuff like saying like I'm gonna like rip him apart. That's very wild and too much for a dating show. Yeah, but it could not actually end up being that. I'm telling you, they've done this clip, like, cutting it before. No. And I agree with you. No, and I definitely agree with you. And again, we'll see next week. But I just like the way he's been moving, and then when people confront him about it, he'll look at him like the cat that got the cream. I just don't like. He's that gaslighting feeling where you're internally going through somersaults because you're just like, am I the crazy one? And I'm going crazy, and this man or woman is making you feel as though like, yo, I think I'm mentally having a breakdown because I think that you're doing X, but all your actions are saying that you're doing Y, and I know I'm not crazy. Yeah. It sucks. I've been there before when I know somebody's gaslighting me, and I'm like, who's there to back me up? My hope and prayer is that they, like, the dream is that it's a strength in numbers situation, right? Where it's like, y'all realize y'all got a sizable amount of dudes, black dudes in the house. You got Kenny, you got Josiah, you got Willie, you got Eric, you got Anthony. I think I named all of them. Yeah. That's strength in numbers. Like, stay together, form a brotherhood. Like, and you notice it too. Like, there were certain scenes where they were having conversations and there was like 3 of them and they were all black. And I was like, okay, y'all know what's up. At least some. I mean, you say that. I know what you're saying, but again, this is just not the show for that, ever. It never is, and I don't think this one's going to change that, even though there's more black people. Because even when there were shows with black people, those are sometimes the shows with black people got into it more than anybody else. Which I can understand to a certain degree, but I think because this is a different type of audience, I think it depends on the audience. This is a primetime television show that mainstream America is watching, that most importantly, a good chunk of white people are watching. There are a lot of white people who are watching this just because it's another Bachelorette season. They don't give a fuck who Rachel is. Some of them do, and they're not watching. But there are people who I go to work with who are like, yo, I'm watching it, like, I watch it every season. It's trashy every season. But it's like, yo, there's so many different nuances to this season outside of any other season you have seen in the past. And we know why, because we live that life day by day. But they don't get it. They just see it as just like, oh, it's drama like every season. It's like, yeah, but this is like racial drama. No, look, I'm not saying it's any better, but there's been racial drama before. Like, I mean, girl, go look at that. Go look at my article. I agree with you. Again, this is, 15 seasons of one and 10 seasons of another's in. Girl, I am jaded. Right. And that's the thing. Like, I'm seeing this from a new perspective where I'm just like, it's very clear how y'all setting my man up. It's very clear how you setting Rachel up, and I don't appreciate it. Like, and I think that the difference is, like, people are very clear on, yo, fuck this. Fuck this. This is a terrible idea. Like, this is not a smart thing to do to try to capitalize off of, and you're idiots to do it. Again, we'll see what that output is, but just know, if I am not pleased, y'all will know. Yeah. I mean, this is the thing I will say. I have a bigger hope out of this whole thing, which is that I want the secondary person to be a person of color. So Rachel is already the Bachelorette, and I get this moment. The next moment is, okay, let's have a black bachelor.
and see if we can make it understood that this is okay and this is a thing so that people get it. Because
out of the 5 in the house, who do you think would actually most likely be the the Black Bachelor?
That's the shitty thing is like now it's like the odds are not impossible, they're just less. So I look at Will and I say he could maybe do it, and I look at Josiah, even though I don't like him.
I'd say Josiah makes better television, so they'd probably pick Josiah. And I'm not pleased with that. Let me make that clear. Like I wouldn't want him to, because he's a bit of a dick. But yeah, no, I think it would be Josiah and his personality. You're right, is he's eventually gonna he's eventually gonna hang himself, but you just gotta give him enough rope. But I can see him being called to be.
Girl, you don't even need to give him the rope. He will makeshift it on with his back hair. Trust and best believe.
So, but yeah, I could definitely see him being like the cocky, arrogant asshole bachelor who's smooth and still looks very good and successful, and he's trying to find his love because he was heartbroken. Rachel didn't understand him, and blah blah blah.
I mean, it depends on where he gets to, because I mean, again, it's usually the person who makes it pretty far. Like,
right.
That's the way that goes. So,
right.
Yeah, like it just depends on how far he gets.
Right. Okay. Yep. All right. So let's close this out with top threes. I am right now. We're still holding strong with our 2 out of 3, Kenny and Peter. They both had rough weeks for different reasons.
Girl, yes.
Peter with those rhymes, Kenny with that racism, sexism. But we still hoping and believing that things are gonna be all right. So I'm still holding strong with my top 2 being Kenny and Peter. Josiah got the Swift boot off my roster. He got to go. I kicked him out of the basketball court like Rachel did DeMario. And
you got to fucking go.
You got to get the fuck out of here, okay?
Yeah.
And instead, I'm putting in Willie Luther King. And Willie is Mr. Kumbaya based on the previews and the edits, so and the trailers for the next episodes.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that works. But I like Willie. I think Will is he's a good looking dude. He's real goofy. She's goofy. I think the goofiness works well together. I definitely don't see her with Eric. Eric will probably be the next one to go.
Yeah.
It's Anthony. He's only had one solo date, and it worked well for him, but I don't think she's going to pick him.
Skip? You mean Skip is Skip still. And
yeah.
He will remain Skip.
She's not gonna, I know for a fact she's really not going to pick him. So, it's definitely, I think Big Willie got a chance.
Yes. So this is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to do something a little controversial. And I know that you're going to flip out, but hear me out here. So I actually still only have 2 guys that I'm really standing for. And that's Alex. And that's Will. Those are the only guys that at this point I look at and I'm like, okay, I want you to win. I'm not saying that these other guys couldn't win or that these other guys, wouldn't be good with her. I'm just like, I just don't care enough for me to say, okay, yeah, let me do this. And I'm going to put some people on my bench that this is what I will say about my bench currently. Currently, all of these guys don't do well. Like, they do not make me happy. I am not trying to be like, oh, yay, you're my dude. But I want to see them redeem themselves, because the logical thing would be for me to put Peter in there, but I'm just not going to lie to you. Like, I can't muster any affection towards Peter and Rachel together. So I'm going to put Josiah. I take deep breaths as I say this. Brian and Dean on my bench. And I'm going to tell you why. Because out of one of those 3, one of them has to show me something to where I feel that you are like worthy of Rachel. Because at this point right now, I know she likes all 3 of you, and I have seen absolutely nothing, in my opinion, to warrant that. I'm hoping that they redeem themselves. So
yeah, okay. Which I see your strategy. I'm glad you explained that, because I was like, girl, this is a shitty bench. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Because of the thing, none of them I stand for.
I don't see it. I don't understand it.
But I know she likes all three of them.
She does. You're absolutely right. She does. Again, the heart wants what the heart wants. It ain't my heart, girl. I don't know what you're doing. But hey, whatever you like, you like it. I love it. But yeah, I don't agree with it. I'm curious to see how the Dean thing rolls out because Dean is my age.
Yeah.
And even I think Dean is too young.
Yeah. But you know what? We'll see what happens. All I will say is this, and we'll leave it at this. Do not judge me for my bench. Because again, none of these dudes am I like, yay. I'm just more saying like she has made it very clear that she is down for all three of those guys. So let's move forward.
She is.
So anyway, well that wraps it up unless you have anything else, Miss Joy.
Yeah, we will be back next week with, my God, are we gonna do 2 different episodes for episodes?
We gotta discuss that because like personally me, I feel that we will have things to talk about that if we try to do an episode where we combine the two, it'll be too much. So I do think we should try and do 2 separate episodes. I am not saying that one is going to go out right in between the other.
No.
Like, y'all know we on CPT time already. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah, I think we should separate them because they always put good cliffhangers on these 2-parter episodes, and I want to get us talking about that. So I think that's true. Anyway, we got to get out of here. We will catch you next time. You can find me now, because this has been a minute. You can find me at my new handle, y'all. Like I had a big moment this week. I changed my Twitter handle. It was a big moment. There for reasons that I'll tell later, to That Jacqueline. So you can now follow me at That Jacqueline. And Joy, they can follow you.
I mean, I'm the same Twitter handle, Jump for Joy. Y'all know what it is.
Yeah. That is like a thing, though. That's like deciding to get divorced, basically, when you're like, hey, I'm going to change my Twitter handle. It really did feel that.
So my Twitter handle a while ago years ago, was different. And I really sat with Jump for Joy for a long time. And was like, is that the brand that I want for myself?
Yeah.
And I think that it is, that is it. I think that is it for me. I might change it up, later in life or whatever.
No, but they can still get you because it has your name. Mine didn't have my name in it. And I was just tired of listening to people being like, what's your handle? Like, it's not your name. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, I like that, Jacqueline. I think that's cute and piffy without it being inappropriate. And with whatever is, like, with you writing for Black Girl Nerds, like, I think it's important for you to kind of change that, change it up a little bit.
Yeah. No, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, very cool. All right, well, I am done. We're done. I'm sorry. Like, we're recording this late at night, and I'm just, like, the worst at this sign-off right now. Anyway, we'll catch you guys next time.
All right, bye, guys.
Bye. I literally was like, and I am done. We're done, because I'm exhausted.